Hello, my name is Heidi Schutz, and I will be presenting my research proposal on the effects of time-restricted feeding on body fat mass in healthy resistance-trained females. Intermittent fasting has gained wide popularity in the past decade and may be defined as the voluntary abstinence of caloric intake individually defined parameters. Like intermittent fasting, several other types of diets are popular within fitness practitioners, including the paleo, vegan, and vegetarian, as well as keto diets. All are forms of balancing energy from calories in to calories out. Types of intermittent fasting are prevalent and several protocols exist, three of which I will mention today. An alternate day fast consists of a 24-hour day of fasting followed by an immediate day of regular feeding. A whole day fast consists of at least 1 to 2 days of fasting throughout the week followed by regular eating. And then finally time-restricted feeding, which will be the focus of my study. Time-restricted feeding may be defined as fasting for at least 16 hours to 20 hours daily, followed by a feeding period of at least 4 to 8 hours daily. A popular time-restricted feeding pattern is known as the 16-8, whereby 16 hours are spent fasting and 8 hours are spent eating. The objective is to examine the effects of time-restricted feeding on body fat mass in healthy resistance-trained athletes. After review of the current data, only one study was found to demonstrate the effects of time-restricted feeding on reducing fat composition in resistance-trained females. So this will be the focus of my study. Current evidence has demonstrated that time-restricted feeding has become a progressively utilized dietary approach for weight loss and overall health. Though there is an increasing body of evidence indicating beneficial effects of time-restricted feeding on everything from blood lipids to other health biomarkers, they have been primarily within certain populations. A literature review has more so identified specific populations that have been studied within time-restricted feeding. They include the obese and overweight populations, type 2 diabetics or anyone who is insulin sensitive, male athletes, and religious practitioners such as those undergoing Ramadan. Moreover, while emerging research has continued to demonstrate the physical benefits of incorporating time-restricted feeding with physical fitness, much of the evidence has been studied within a male population. This leads me to my research question, in which I will study the effects of the 16-8 time-restricted feeding on reducing body fat mass in healthy resistance-trained females. Prevalence of intermittent eating patterns in active individuals and the paucity of existing research in this population indicate the need for further research. The methodology in the study will be utilizing a quantitative analysis and specifically an experimental design. A randomized control trial will be employed consisting of a control group and intervention group. The control group will be utilizing a normal diet, whereas the intervention will be a time-restricted diet, specifically the 16-8 within resistance-trained females. These females will be recruited at a local San Diego gym called Leo Fit Labs through posters, email announcements, and advertisements. During this time, the participants will be able to consume a normal diet with no restrictions in place. Outside of the window, they will be consuming only liquids with no caloric value, such as tea, black coffee, and water. Adherence to this protocol will be measured using daily adherence logs. And the data collection will also consist of a baseline anthropometric reading conducted via the BOD pod. The BOD pod basically measures a few different things and is found within this local San Diego gym. It will measure total weight, fat mass, fat-free mass, body fat percentage, resting metabolic rate, and thoracic gas volume. The primary focus of the BOD pod measurement will be the fat mass. The daily adherence log will be administered every single day, and participants will be expected to notate the time that they began eating and that they ended eating. Again, the time-restricted feeding window will be consisting of 16 hours of the fasted state and 8 hours of the feeding state. Resistance training will be done at least 2 times a week, and participants will have been preliminary screened for at least having done resistance for 1 year prior to beginning the study. The study will take place over a course of 4 weeks. All participants will be required to sign an informed consent document with a description of the testing procedures approved by the IRB prior to the study, and all the study will conform to the standards of human subjects and research as outlined by the Declaration of Helsinki. The type of analysis I will be utilizing will be a statistical analysis. I will be using G-Power software to have an a priori power analysis. It will be performed to give me an effect size estimated from a previous investigation of time-restricted feeding and resistance training. I will have a p-value that will be less than or equal to 0.05. I will also utilize a two-way ANOVA. This will test for and compare fat mass in the control group and compare it to the intervention group. Here I will be able to further substantiate replication, randomization, and control within my experimental study. A discussion of the study will include time-restricted feeding as a possible weight loss modality. Many studies have been conducted with regard to time-restricted feeding in weight loss, but within populations of obese or overweight or insulin-sensitive individuals. Another consideration would be time-restricted feeding as a possible adjunct to resistance training in women. So with the results of the study, we can see if there's any place for time-restricted feeding incorporated into certain training regimens to help aid in either weight loss or body fat reduction. Time-restricted feeding on the effects on other physiological processes. Again, time-restricted feeding has been studied more so within the male populations, Ramadan practitioners, which have led to different levels of measurement with body composition, certain inflammation markers, etc. This would be another promising area of research. Strengths of the study include the fact that it will be a replicative study to confirm the hypothesis of previous research conducted by Moore et al. Moore et al. Was able to demonstrate body fat reduction within resistance-trained male athletes. So investigating this new population within women will further expand upon the limited data that exists. Limitations include confounding variables from inaccurate journaling for the adherence log to newly diagnosed health issues affecting weight, over underreporting of resistance training, and meals, the effects of meals in relationship